Welcome everyone to an Out to Lunch webinar brought to you by the Earth Science Information Partners Education Committee. These webinars are held Wednesdays at noon Central Time, and you can always register for them at this link here. These webinars are 10-minute demonstrations of Earth Science data, tools, and resources with 5 minutes afterwards for Q&A. And you can always view our past presentations on our wiki page or on our Out to Lunch YouTube playlist. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to our presenters for today, and they will introduce themselves and share an exciting wildfire resource with you.
Greetings, everyone. I'm just going to take a second here and share my screen. And let's see if that works. And wave at me if you can see my slides.
They look good.
Okay, good. So I'm going to put it in slideshow mode here. And just say hi again and thanks for having lunch with me. I'm in San Diego, so it's a little bit before lunch here. And today we're going to talk about WIFIRE or Wildfires. And we're going to share with you some interesting new science tools for wildfire prediction, management, and prevention. And this is a pilot project that Elena from Community Commons and myself from Global SchoolNet are doing with UCSD in San Diego. And it's funded through an NSF grant. And there is a variety of different partners. Elena and I are working on the educational component, the educational and community outreach component. So our job is to take a lot of very high-level scientific research being done in artificial intelligence and machine learning and visualization and simulations, and make it a little bit simpler so we can share it with the public and with educators, their students. We're targeting students ages 11 through 18 and their parents. So we want to make this as inclusive as possible and intergenerational when possible. So just really briefly, Global SchoolNet has been around for 30 years. Our focus has always been on collaborative learning. We've done numerous projects over those decades, all focused on successful collaboration, why you want to collaborate, what types of collaboration there are, what tools you use, and how to have a successful experience. I work with Elena on a special project called Global Forest Link, which is a collaborative analysis of forest health. And I'm going to turn it over to Elena to introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Elena Yulaeva. I'm Director of Community Commons. This is the nonprofit located in San Diego that is engaged in lots of educational and special environmental educational projects. I also an atmospheric scientist by training and work at the San Diego Supercomputer Center now.
Great, thanks, Elena. So I know this is a very short 10-minute talk, so we're just giving you the kind of tip of the iceberg here. But this is a pilot project, so it's in development, and some of these components have already been developed and some are in the process of being developed. But what educators will get from this project is a whole series of downloadable resources that are made up of different forms that students can use to help to manage projects, do time management, to create digital stories, to become good scientific journal reporters. There will be a series of Meet the Expert webinars where students will be able to hear directly from people that are in the industry of fire science and environmental science. And we're actually going to be launching the first one, so be on the lookout for that. It's getting started with WIFIRE. And at the end, we'll show you where you can sign up if you want to participate in that, either live or get the recorded version of it, and it's free. And then very exciting, part of this is the tools, and Elena will tell you a little bit more about that when we get to the tools, the visualization and simulation tools. And a very special part is the career connections, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. So first, I'm going to talk about this company that we're working with called Journeys Map. Journeys Map allows students to identify career interests and then create a journey that will get them there. So I'm going to escape out of this presentation mode, switch over to Journeys Map here. And I've already logged on just to move this on a little faster here. And once you log on, and you can experiment with this. So we'll give you the link. If I haven't already done it, I'll give you the link and you can look at this on your own. But there's a number of different things that students can do. They can go in, they can do an interest survey that will help them identify what kind of careers would best fit their own personalities and skills. They can go into a skill matcher, again, very similar. And these use all sorts of educational assessments to identify these things, or they can begin their career exploration. And for this demo, I'm going to do that. And again, I know I'm going through this very fast, but this itself could be a whole 10-minute presentation. So I just want to give you the highlights. So once you go into career exploration, you can put in what you're interested in. So, you know, often when students are doing it, they'll put in something like skateboarding or surfing or whatever the case is. In my case, I'm going to put in fire because we're talking about wildfires and WIFIRE. So all these careers are mapped to the Department of Labor codes. So every code that is identified as a career, it was a very, very long list, hundreds and hundreds of careers, will be in this database. And for this presentation, I'm going to pick fire prevention and protection engineers. And if you see something that's of interest, you can click on the little plus sign there. And what that does is it lets you, it puts it as part of your journey. So you can go back to those things. In this case, I will show you some options here. You can follow it, which I've already done. You can learn more, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. And then there's a map, which will show you all the different careers that are associated with this. You can start to build a journey. There's videos and other resources. So if I click on learn more, it gives you a very, very comprehensive overview of these careers. So it's telling you that a typical person in this career would have a 4-year college degree, 85%. Some have post baccalaureate certificates. The average salary in this industry is $88,510. There's a predicted growth rate of 8.6%. So that's really important. So as students are looking at different careers, they certainly want to pick a career where there's going to be a growth rate and not a decline. How many projected job openings? In this case, it's 1,900, and currently employed 25,000. So we're going to look at this map part in a minute, but below here, which I find very interesting. So I'm in San Diego. So what it's doing for me is giving me a comparison between what salaries are, what wages are in San Diego as compared to the national wages. So you can see a little bit higher here. Well, in San Diego, we certainly have a problem with wildfires. So that would be very important to get, you know, high quality people and working in these careers. What kind of personality types would be a good match? And they give you a list of integrity, analytical thinking, cooperation, dependability, attention to detail, and initiative, again. And then you can look at the college pathways to get there. So if this is something, a career that you want to go into, you can click on one of these things. I don't have time to show you this today, but we could, you know, perhaps set up something in the future. But what would happen if I click here is it would give all the colleges that are currently offering these degrees and what are the courses you would need to take And if you wanted to create a journey, you could say, okay, I'm in middle school or I'm in high school, and you click on that and it tells you, what are the courses, the must-have courses to get you to that position. It will also show you all the jobs in the area that are currently, all the companies in the area that are hiring for people with these kinds of skills. It'll show internships if somebody's in high school and they want to do an internship and learn about it, and so on. So it's a pretty powerful tool. So having said that, and I know I went through it I was going to show you the map. I'll show you the map here. So if I go to the map, I'm going to close this thing here, and I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Okay, it's like that. So what it shows you, so here's where I'm at for fire prevention protection engineers, and here are related careers. So robotics engineers, electronic drafters, nanosystem engineers, mechanical engineers, physics, and so on. So I could click on each one of these and it would give me lots and lots of additional information similar to what I just showed you. So again, going back to my presentation here, going back to the slideshow here. And just to make sure you're all seeing what I'm seeing, can you just wave your hand if you see the?
No, it's a map again, journeys.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. That's a slide. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it over to Elena, and she's going to talk about some tools.
Can I share
Stop
my
sharing?
screen?
Yep, stop sharing right here.
As Yvonne mentioned, this is the pilot project. Not all the tools are ready yet for interactive educational purposes, but this is the fire map that is the foundation of the new system, which is called Burn Pro. This Burn Pro 3D is basically the simulation system where you can explore the behavior of the fires. The main idea is not to suppress the wildfires, but to prevent them by running small fires that are scientifically backed up. I encourage you to use this tool to explore fires and fires behaviors and fires prediction with your students. There are different layers on the map here. So I picked up the fire that is burning right now, and I can see if I have cameras around to explore this fire. And it seems that all the cameras are not there. They are in the western part, so I cannot look at it at the camera, but it's interesting. If the fire is burning like yesterday, it was near the border, the Mexican border, so we can actually see the smoke in the camera. I can look at the conditions that fuel explain the fire behavior. For instance, they have different fuels, and I can see what kind of fuel is in this point. For instance, this is grass, and if the conditions are right, it might be increasing the fire. So as far as conditions are concerned, let me get rid of the fuels. There is the weather layer, and you can see the winds and the takes a while for the winds to show that. You can see the winds, and you can predict the fire propagation. You can see the air temperature and infer what kind of condition, if it's really hot, what you can expect of this fire. You can explore the humidity, and again, see if humidity will fuel the fire again. Again, this is in development. The Burn Pro 3D will have much more fuels, but much more features, but I think it's still worth exploring. And I will stop sharing my screen, and Yvonne will show the slide, which has all the information how you can follow us and sign up for our program.
Great, thank you. Okay, I think you should see what Elena just talked about. So those are two different tools. Just to clarify, the fire map is, you can see where the current fire activity is. And as Elena said, there's live cameras. There's two great videos that are very short, a couple of minutes each, that will talk about the fire map watch and getting started with fire map. And then Burn Pro 3D is still in development. And there's a little demo here. Eventually, that will be available for your use, you and your students' use. And Elena, when did they say that would be available?
In a few months.
In a few months.
So I hope
yeah.
by fall.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay, let me go to the next slide here. All right, so again, because this is a pilot project, but it's a 2-year project that's funded through NSF, we're developing all of the materials that go with this, and there will probably be lots of things that will become available that we don't even know about today. So the best way to get involved, if this sounds something that that interests you, is first of all, come to the WIFIRE education landing page, which is a subset of Global Forest Link. And there's a link here that you can go to, and then you can sign up to be kept informed of different opportunities, the free webinars and so on. If you're a Twitter user, here's our Twitter handle, Facebook group page. This is where we'll share a lot of the news articles, videos, things like that, because there are 60 partners. That's where you will find anything that might be interesting there, Instagram. And then we're putting together a YouTube playlist that has all of these little videos about the tools and about WIFIRE itself. So this is what currently the landing page, I call it a landing page because it's a subset of Global Forest Link, looks like. And here again, you can sign up. That's the most important thing right now, but this is where you'll find those resources, recordings of the webinars and all of the above. And before I move to questions, probably we should have started in the very beginning, why is this project important? And because wildfires are becoming more and more of a threat throughout the country. Certainly here in the West they are, and other parts of the country as well. But I mean, you can't contain that smoke. So whatever's happening in California is going to affect, other parts of the country as well. And it's affecting our health, it's affecting our economy, it's affecting our safety, and affecting the animal population. So the importance of this is to become aware of why we would want to do managed fires, because most people have sort of not a good understanding of what a managed fire is. But this whole project is going to show if you can predict where these fires will be and you can do managed burns, it will reduce these crazy out of control wildfires that will, that destroy property, animals, and affect our health. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to some questions.
Before we take questions, you can either put them in the chat or you can raise your hand and unmute. But I put the link to the Global Forest Link website in the chat.
Thank you.
So I see a hand there. Danielle has a hand. Yes, Danielle.
Yeah. Sorry, I clapped instead of raised my hand.
Well, that's okay. I was like, yes, everybody should clap.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing. This is really cool. I love the resources on there. I was wondering, I saw that, it has Colorado on there in the camera section. For the weather, is the focus mostly California, or is it gonna expand out to the rest of the country?
Originally, it was only California, but I think it will be expanded to the whole country.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, any other questions or
And
comments?
if you watch the Burn Pro 3D short video, you will get more understanding of how it will look, and it's really exciting. It's like I love the simulation that there will be there.
So yeah, I see there's a question from Kendra. Is there a plan to link education materials with classrooms or curriculum materials? Yes, all of this, all the materials that we're developing are linked to the science standards. And yeah, I should have put that in one of the slides, but there are specific things. This is, as I said, an outgrowth of our Global Forest Link project, which we've been doing for about 5 years. And all of that, all the materials there are aligned to curriculum standards. Where can you find the links to the videos? So I think Carla is going to make this presentation available, and the presentation has all the links, and I can send, what's the best way to do that, Carla?
We can link it to our page. It will be on our page. This Global Forest Link, welcome to Wildfire education.
Right, and when
we'll have the presentation there, and
the presentation, and maybe even this recording, we can link to the recording as well.
The presentation and the recording will be on our Out to Lunch wiki page, as well as on YouTube, which will point back to both of them. But on the Out to Lunch page that every time we advertise for these, that link is included in there. But right now, is there a direct link to the videos that you could stick in the chat, or not really?
Well, there is on the YouTube. If you go to the link that I provided, let me go back, can do a screen share.
Can you stick that in the chat?
I would have to do it from memory, but let me just go back here for a second. You're still looking, right? Oh. So I'm going to click on that just so it comes up, and then I can put it in the chat. Hang on. So, oops, one available videos hidden. Okay, so this is where you'll find all of them. This is the Global SchoolNet YouTube channel, and then there's a playlist which is Wildfire education, where we will put links to all of these. Since these videos, most of them have been created by UCSD, which is they're the ones that are doing all the research on this project. And again, our charge is to do the education component and help educators and students and parents, because part of it is awareness, knowing that the importance of this is going on, but it could involve legislation. It could involve, opportunities to vote and make these things happen, or create community plans that allow this to happen. So it's really creating awareness. And for students, of course, understanding the science behind it, and possibly getting into career paths that will help them get involved with this. So yeah, so other questions? So actually, can I ask a question? So this is sort of a new topic, and I'm wondering, has anybody been involved in any kind of educational activities that focus on fire science, or, in fire science and related environmental science? So I see one head shaking. So yeah, we'd love for you to get involved. And right now this is a small project that we're building on, but it's going to be a growing project. And really, the more input that we can get, the more applications of the tools, in educational settings would be very helpful. So yeah, we would love to collaborate with anybody that's been involved with this.
Yeah, I saw this presentation. Yes.
I just threw that in there because it's a project of mine. So,
Yes.
but we'll probably put a link in that to this resource here.
One of the, and Yvonne mentioned it, one of the very important component of webinars meet an expert, because in this program, there is not just like firefighters or atmospheric scientists or whatever. It's a huge project that is actually funded by NSF under the Convergence Accelerator program. So basically the main idea is to have as many people from collaborators from different areas, from people who are doing artificial intelligence to people who are land managers, etc., firefighters, etc. So we think that meet an expert webinars, that is basically 20-minute presentation of an expert, but before the presentation, she sends questions, sends the recommended literature, and then students prepare questions, and they have an opportunity to ask the questions. And our experience with Global Forest Link showed that this is actually extremely valuable part of the project, because this is something that sometimes it's eye-opening for lots of students, what you can do after school, what you can do if you want to be, for instance, data scientist. This is one of the aims of this educational outreach.
And just, I know there's only a few people here, but I just want to mention that the Global Forest Link program has been going on for a number of years, and there is lots of information there that supports the science and study of forest health. So from past years that we've done, there's some videos there, how to get started. It can be done on a self-paced basis. So there's lots of downloadables that you can use. There's the videos from past Meet the Expert webinars. And so that's sort of in conjunction with this whole WIFIRE education program.
Thank you so much, Elena and Yvonne.
Thank you.
And I'll just mention that our next Out to Lunch will not be next week, but will be May 18th. And Trinity Foreman from NOAA is going to share a tool from NOAA. So thank you, everyone, for participating. At this point, I'm going to stop the recording. And thank you all for